Hair touching this area is very itchy, so that's why I have this headband. It's been a minute since I filmed a Unfiltered Thoughts, so I figured I'd grab a drink, although I've been drinking every single night again. Today we got 90-second brown rice with ancient grains, which is brown rice, green lentil, millet, red quinoa, sorghum, flax, amaranth, cilantro, avocado, lime, salmon, and garlic. I'm also gonna add a little bit of sour cream to the sauce. I told you that I filed my business as a LLC because I used to work in litigation. I just didn't want to get sued, and I thought that it was better for myself to be a little bit away from the business as an entity. And also because I felt that being in the trades, there could be risk of like flooding, risk of there's higher risk I felt in this industry. And then I was watching a lot of handyman videos, handyman channel, and he suggested, oh, all of his accountants and all handymen, the best thing is to do is to be an S-corporation. And at least in the state of California, the minimum fee for LLC is $800. And then as an S corporation, I believe you don't pay federal taxes, and it's like a pass-through entity, whatever the F that means, I don't know. But I just thought that that would be the best thing. But when I spoke with my accountant, she said that she doesn't recommend people to be an S corporation because it's really complicated until they start making $175,000 a year. I'm not there yet. Hearing all of that from my telephone call with my accountant yesterday, I was like, what have I done? You know, I just listened to whatever, like, without thinking, and I thought that was the best option, and now I'm just wasting all this money. And then she says I have to get a payroll company as well, and I was like, well, what do you suggest? Maybe should I just go back to being a sole proprietor or something else? Like, you know, should I just not even be an LLC? And she's like, well, I can't give you legal advice. I'm just not used to paying all of that, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm a cheap ass and I don't want to pay professionals to do shit for me, you know? But it's like, I just feel like if it's something that everyone has to do, it shouldn't be that freaking complicated. I started my business bank account late into the year because I just didn't know what was going on, and you know, all of my income from TaskRabbit was going into my personal bank checking account. So she said everything that I've taken out since starting my business, so all of 2020, because that's when she's doing the taxes for, she said everything that was taken out has to be a 1099 distribution. So I have to go calculate that and give it to her in the next few days. Which means that every withdrawal I've made from my personal bank account, I have to pay taxes on. And I don't really know what will happen after that, like what that number is gonna be and how much in taxes I have to pay. But I think you only pay SSI on 1099 income, not Medicare, SSI, and something else. I forgot what it was. But yeah, not a lot of people online talk about their taxes, maybe because they're, I don't know, use loopholes, or they themselves don't really understand what's going on. But I want to be pretty transparent without, you know, obviously I'm not gonna like give out too much information, like just for privacy reasons, and you know, you just never know. You don't want to give out, it's like giving out your freaking social security number online. Employment tax, self-employment tax is 15%, but because of the 1099 distribution that I have to pay taxes on, let's say everything that I've made from my business, let's say I have to pay 30% of it in taxes. I think my net income was $24,000 in my business for 2020. So 30% would be about 6,800, $7,200. I can offer you any advice about starting your own business. Make your corporate bank account as soon as possible. Like, don't dabble in your business finances with your personal checking account. And I wasn't really scared about doing it because when I worked as an economist, I've had like truck drivers that I did cases on, and I would try to calculate their economic damages, and truck drivers that had their own business, like independent contractor truck drivers, and they put everything into their personal bank account. So I'm like, they didn't have a P&L either. So my boss is like, well, look in there. All we have that are records of earnings was the bank statement. So look in their bank statement line by line and figure out what is a business expense as a truck driver. So I did research, and you kind of have to like do some kind of common sense guesswork, but I'm looking at things, and your bank statement, the items that you purchase are not itemized. So if he had gone to Home Depot, or if he had gone to like an auto mechanic or something, those obviously probably will be a business expense. But what if he had gone to like some kind of small mom and pop place or whatever it is? It's very difficult to figure out what is a personal expense and what is a business expense just by looking at someone's bank account. Just by looking at someone's personal bank account, which they take out everything that they spend from. So anyway, if I could offer you advice, if you're going to be self-employed, set a separate business bank account. Especially if you have an LLC and you're operating as the LLC and not your individual self. I mean, all that is still really complicated to me. I'm probably the last person you should ask, but that's what I recommend. When I was a salaried employee, I used a website called Free Tax USA. It's still operating. It's cheaper than TurboTax, and my friend Anthony told me about it. He's a teacher, and he said he's been filing his taxes that way through that website. And I think the federal is free, and then to file your state with them, it's like $7.99 or something. Or I think it maybe increased to $12.99 at this point. But I think with TurboTax, you end up paying like $35. So it's still cheaper. The interface is almost the same. Maybe it's not as smooth and sleek, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's so much more value of your money, so I would just go with that option. I wanted to start a SEP, a self-employment pension, because I'm self-employed. But apparently the rule is you can only contribute 25% from the S-corporation, 25% of wages paid to the employee, which is me. Pay myself as a W-2, I've never done before. So you have to do a W-4, and you have to figure out what number allowances you're gonna take, and then how much you're gonna pay in Medicare and SSI and something else. I can't remember what the other taxes are for. And I have to calculate all that. And so my accountant suggested just get ADP as a payroll company come November of 2021 and pay yourself so that you can contribute 25% of those wages to your SEP. I'm like, I don't know how to do any of that. So I was worried about how much this payroll company is gonna be, how much per month. It could be like from $40 a month to $200 a month. Or I think it said $160 for a company with 8 to 15 employees or something like that. So I'm like, well, with little old me, just me doing it one time in November, would it just be $40? Then that's doable, but I don't know if it's just that one time. Like, can I just freaking figure it out on my own? Oh yeah, it really hurt my wrist today. I did 6 hours of furniture assembly today. My freaking wrist. Ugh. Ow, 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 ow. My right wrist is shot. The other thing you have to do as a business is pay quarterly taxes. And to the franchise tax board, you should estimate about 5% of your net earnings, or maybe your gross earnings, I don't know. Just to be safe, you can pay to your gross. 5% to the franchise tax board, because that's for your state. And then you also should pay estimated quarterly tax payments to the IRS, which you should pay about 25% per quarter. So I'm obviously a little stressed out about it, but please know I don't take for granted being able to work for myself. I love it. I freaking love it. And I've been working almost every single day. Today was my 7th day, and I'm gonna work again tomorrow. And I might even work again on Thursday. But I have no problem doing that because I love what I do, and I love the lessons that I'm learning when I fuck up, the lessons that I'm learning when I meet a customer or meet a client that I don't really mesh well with. I'm learning so much, and I'm learning about the trades. I'm getting better, and I'm learning things physically about myself, and I love it. And I will never trade that for something else just because doing my taxes is so complicated and I'm stressed out about it. So don't get me wrong, I know I just sound like I'm just complaining about all these things that I didn't know about with taxes, but please know it's totally all worth it for me personally. I can't speak for everybody else. I'm sure people love that taxes and all of that, they get money back the following year. So it's all a matter of preference, you know. So by March 15th I have to pay my S-corp taxes, personal taxes, because she's gonna file everything at the same time. By April 15th I have to pay $800. By March 15th I also have to pay 5% to franchise tax board and 25% of my net income from my business to IRS. So I have to figure out how to do that. Yeah. Oh, and then with the mileage thing, you can get 50 cents back on every mile you drive for work. So I've been trying to track my miles, and I'm realizing how tedious and how waste of time I feel like it is to track every single mile. There's no way people are doing this out there. But I don't know. I want to try it. I want to try it on my own. And I know there are apps out there, like Mile IQ was recommended from my accountant, but it just makes me feel kind of weird to have this app tracking everywhere I drive. Closing thoughts. Taxes are complicated, but you will figure it out, and don't stress, because taxes, just like with anything, are just another trivial event that's happening in your life, and why stress out about it, I guess. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're interested. I post videos every Monday, and a video like this, which is just me ranting while drinking and usually cooking, or I post a week in the life of a Handywoman video. I also post a Learn With Me every 2 weeks. Exclusive update, I am returning to Impact for a electric saw of some sort. And I want to get better at cutting. I want to get better at sawing stuff. So I'm going to purchase that instead, because the Impact is just way too similar to a drill driver, and I don't need 2 drills. I need a different tool. And I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Oh.